What's good, y'all? What's good? It's your boy Philly Talk with PA. You got a little new mic going, little new mic. Shout out to the support. Shout out to supporters of the pod. Um, I'm not gonna yell today. I think as a bunch of you probably know, one of my friends decided to have a little fun with me today. Pause, context, whatever word you want to use. Um, So yeah, I was gonna get this out a little earlier in the day, but little bit of stomach issues. Now we're here, but nevertheless, it's gonna be a good day. It's gonna be a good episode, and let's talk about. I want to talk about the Sixers team, which is very confusing. Um, it's it's really hard to decipher what this team is, and partly because they don't have an identity. That's partly Nick Nurse's problem. But nevertheless, you look at this team, Tyrese Maxey, first off, top three MVP discussion. Jokic last night, this is some like crazy nut stuff. Like 56, 15, and 12 or something. Just like crazy, all 18 in OT. It was wild, but Tyrese Maxey for sure is in the MVP discussion. 31 points a game. This now here's a guy who like didn't really like people knew he was gonna be like that, but like this putting the team on his back, and now it's put the Sixers in a position where now it's kind of like Embiid, and this is what, and we're gonna talk about Joel Embiid, and we're gonna talk about Paul George. I want to focus on the youth, and we'll talk about another unsung hero as well, but Tyrese Maxey, VJ Edgecombe, what those two guys are doing right now is just straight out of this world. Obviously, VJ started off super hot, a little bit of a cool stretch, but still averaging 16. I said that big game against the Knicks. And there's kind of this illness going around, but I think he'll be ready to go tonight versus Chicago. Um, it's very odd, right? The Sixers beat a very have their best win of the season against the New York Knicks. They beat up on a hot Mavericks team. Then you lose to the Brooklyn Nets at home. And I know some guys are out, but you lost to Michael Porter Jr. at home. And now you got Chicago tonight on the road. Can you pull that one out? There's a couple of light ones on the schedule. Nick Nurse has to answer for this. Sixers' identity is extremely confusing. I don't know what to make of it. One night it's looking great. The next night it's the worst third quarter team in the NBA. Nick Nurse, the Sixers have to figure this out sooner than later. Because the New York Knicks, who can't win games on the road, and the Detroit Pistons, as of right now, are the only two teams standing in the way, definitively in front of the Sixers. Cleveland, y'all saw them against the Knicks. They're not. They're not like that. Orlando still struggling. The Heat. Do we really think those guys will be able to carry it all the way? Not really. Shout out Spo. Um, Orlando getting going. Atlanta. Eh. Boston. Jalen Brown carrying the team in the big moment. Like, the New York Knicks and the Pistons are the two teams right now, kind of standing in their way, and it kind of wants you kind of makes you want the Knicks and Pistons to play each other. Maybe in the second round. You know, that way, they can take each other out. You only have to face one, but this Sixers team, I'm still really excited about the Sixers team. VJ Edgecombe, that's the guy. But the identity issue is still there. In a weak Eastern Conference, where the Bucks are falling, Other teams were falling. Boston's, they're on a streak right now recently, but this is not the same Boston team. Like you gotta get it done. And Joel Embiid, bro. Joel Embiid gave hope to a franchise that had seen zero hope since the best years of Allen Iverson. Joel Embiid gave this city playoff hope, great memories, 50 points on one leg versus the Knicks, all that good stuff. They have to move off of him now, a year sooner rather than 2 years late when there's no value left on him. And this isn't, a harsh thing, but it's the business of the NBA. We've seen it so many times. The Sixers, they have to move off of him. Get, a guy, an all-star kind of caliber center, borderline that can get you 20 a night, 17 to 20 points a night. Just someone that can be consistent on the floor for 65 games, 70 games, because that's really all Maxey needs at this point, and VJ. But Sixers probably best to move on from Embiid sooner than later. Once again, this is not a hate thing. This is just if you're a Sixers front office business thing. It's tough. It's tough. That once again the guy that gave you hope, the guy that his teammate left him hanging multiple times in the playoffs. The guy that tried to put his team on his back on one leg when Harden disappeared in the playoffs. But Tobias Harris disappeared in the playoffs. Kawhi shot, all that stuff. And it's just tough, but sometimes you got to make those harsh decisions. Same thing goes for Paul George. I am not fooled. I will not be fooled by Paul George having a good, 8-game streak. I will not be fooled because we're in December. What are we going to do in April? What are we going to do in May? I can't do it. Will he even be able to play in April or May? So I will not be fooled by the Paul George hype train. I will continue to watch. Shout out PG, hooping, doing his thing. But, hey, got to keep it a buck. And what's most recent on your resume is what people are going to remember. So until further notice, I will not be boarding the Paul George hype train. And Jared McCain, and this is, we kind of get to unsung heroes, last stuff on the Sixers. Jared McCain, Dominic Barlow, Andre Drummond. Those three guys have won the Sixers at least like 4 games this season. Andre Drummond finding a 3-point shot. Obviously still got the rebounding in him. Dominic Barlow, especially with Watford, Jabari Walker out, he stepped up big time, especially defensively. He's kind of like Matisse Thybulle. Shout out Matisse Thybulle. But he actually, has a 3-point shot. That Dominic Barlow, really, really good player. All that good stuff. And then there's Jared McCain. Jared McCain, I don't know what Nick Nurse is thinking. Putting other guys in that don't need to be playing those type of minutes and keeping McCain on the bench. Bro, put Jared McCain in the game. Okay, he'll have a turnover or two. But with this guy, his IQ offensively, he had pretty good chemistry with VJ. And, just Jared McCain needs to be on the floor more. We see what he can do when he has the ball in his hands. Same thing goes for Justin Edwards. Like, maybe not as much, but this is a dude, like, when he gets hot, we saw against Boston, when he gets hot, he will knock him down. Defensively as well, he's not as big as a liability as people want to like make it seem. Shout out Adam Bona as well, especially earlier in the year when Embiid was out a lot more. Adam Bona holding it down, but this Sixers team, they gotta find an identity sooner than later. Hopefully Oubre comes back. You get that valve of resource on the floor, but and we haven't really talked about this newly revamped, new and improved rivalry going on in the Midwest. I guess you could say the South. South, Midwest? Eh, whatever. Southwest Division. The San Antonio Spurs might just be the NBA's last hope before it is completely broken by the Los Angeles Clippers' incompetence. The San Antonio Spurs are not 1-0, not 2-0, 3-0 versus OKC. OKC is 26-5 on the season. 3 of those losses are to San Antonio. Wemby, that was the most Christmas Day was the most hype, energetic crash out I've ever seen Victor Wembanyama play. When getting booed when you check in, getting booed when you check out, every time the ball touches your hand. Shane knows what that feels like when he's in Minnesota. Wemby is here. Spurs are here. Shout out Stephon Castle. Dylan Harper. Oh my works, bro. Dylan Harper was hooping on Christmas. De'Aaron Fox couldn't miss a shot. Luke Cornett played good minutes. Harrison Barnes, you might have to pack it up, brother. I don't know what's going on with you. But the rest of the group, shout out Keldon Johnson. A couple tough buckets. But OKC, that right now to me is OKC's toughest test. You see, we're rocking the Stephon Castle cut right now. Or Michigan people, you want to think about the Trey McKinney cut right now. That's what we're rocking. But Stephon Castle, especially, like when you look at the Spurs and you look at how with Wemby and 4-guard rotation, he doesn't have to do as much, or he can't really do as much because more guard play, more ball dominance on the floor. Stephon Castle has played extremely well, so averaging 19 points, good good field goal percentage splits, all that stuff. Across from him, Dylan Harper is a player that's really come along early, kind of like VJ Edgecombe or Cooper Flagg or Knipple, to be honest with you. This draft class has been really good so far to start the season. Dylan Harper just hitting anything he wanted on Lou Dort, Caruso, did not matter. De'Aaron Fox, aside from Tyrese Maxey, fastest guard I see in the NBA, just absolute stop and go. It's nasty. And then there's Wemby, obviously, who Caruso just hacking every single play. They don't call a foul, but nevertheless, OKC, they're in trouble. And it's not like it's a close game every time. Kind of when the Sixers play the Knicks, and the Sixers or the Knicks will pull away late, or someone will hit a game-winning shot. The Spurs are beating down on OKC every single time. And Lou Dort, bro, someone please tell Lou Dort the pull up 3 ball from 30 feet is not your bag, brother. That's not your bag, brother. Please stop doing that. When Caruso doesn't get it going, when Cason Wallace can get his stuff going, it gets extremely nasty for OKC. Especially when the refs will, if the OKC doesn't really have an advantage, the refs won't give Shea, those foul calls where he tries to bump off the defender and flail. Hey, Harper wasn't falling for it. I think it might have been Keldon Johnson guarding Shea. Just doing a really incredible job, staying sound. But San Antonio, they're looking scary. They're looking scary. Last thing talk about today and this John. We'll call it a preview. Eagles, Bills, little preview because we already kind of did that earlier in the week. But nevertheless, I'm very excited for a multitude of reasons. One, Jordan Davis is going to be Josh Allen's biggest nightmare come Sunday. You're talking about a guy snubbed from the Pro Bowl by his own teammate who probably, if I know Jalen Carter probably told him, hey man, I don't even know why I was selected. You should have been in there. Shannon Sharp went on a rant last night. Jordan Davis should have been in the Pro Bowl. And Jordan Davis talking all nice in the locker room on Wednesday. It's about, oh, I only control what I control. Hey, don't mess with the wrong one. You play, you're gonna find out. Jordan Davis is going to have at least one sack on Josh Allen. He's gonna be all over the run. Expect Jordan Davis to be in the backfield multiple times Sunday afternoon after that Pro Bowl vote. Um, I'm super excited to see Jordan Davis, especially against those Bills on the inside, which is kind of they're pretty solid on the inside. The Bills interior offensive line. See what Jordan Davis can do. I don't believe Jalen Carter is playing. He might be playing. We don't. Lane Johnson and Dean are out. But I don't think they said anything about Carter yet. Nevertheless, Jordan Davis is gonna have a game. Jahad Campbell, no Nakobe Dean. Jahad Campbell is going to have to be all over Josh Allen on Sunday. Don't think about the running back. Let Zach Bond, let a DB take the running back. Jahad Campbell, you are on Josh Allen on Sunday. I need to see you all over the field. Do not let him take off and run. Hopefully, Jalen Phillips, Smith, Hunt, the crew can hold contain. That way, collapse the pocket, but don't let him get outside, especially to his right. Because every time Josh Allen gets out to his right, it's going to be a first down or it's going to be a touchdown. So you cannot let that happen. But Jahad Campbell, hopefully expect a big game from him as well on Sunday. Those are my two X factors defensively. Because as far as receivers go, I don't know if Keon Coleman's going to be even suiting up. But we weren't worried about him anyway, respectfully. And then Khalil Shakir versus Quinion Mitchell. I don't even know who the slot receiver is. And that that's the thing with Buffalo. They've never Josh Allen. I mean, he has had. Well, Gabe Davis is there on the other side. Gabe Davis might get something against Adoree early, but Adoree's been balling lately, so I don't know too much about that. But we're looking at the tight ends, Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox, and I guess now Jackson Hayes or Hawes, Jackson Hawes. Are going to be the X factors for Josh Allen on offense because we know one thing the Eagles would do outside of that Bears game, the Eagles are going to stop the run. That's going to be the focal point because Bills, number one rushing attack in the NFL. Eagles defensively, pulling it up right here in front of me right now, but they're not world beaters or anything like that. Against the run, but they will. The Eagles' defense is very bend but don't break. They've been red zone defense for the Eagles has been very good throughout the season. But if the Eagles want to win this game, you are going to have to stop James Cook. James Cook and Bills fans just keep on wanting to forget that he exists. James Cook has been a top 2, top 3 back at worst this season. I think it's 17 scrimmage yards. How many touchdowns bro has? James Cook carried the Bills to a win last week versus Cleveland. He's carried them to a win multiple times this season, but people don't want to admit that. And then when the Bills lose, go look at James Cook's stat line and ask why they lost. But don't listen to Josh Allen's fan base because they don't want to admit that. But nevertheless, you're going to have to stop James Cook. You're going to have to stop Josh Allen on QB pulls, scrambling, busted plays. You're going to have to watch out for Josh Allen. But we trust Jahad Campbell is going to have it. And honestly, Jahad's not going to make every play. Even the great ones couldn't make it every play. But we're trusting in Jahad to get it done when it matters most. And, defensively, I'm looking at, hopefully Makuba be able to come back soon. Sidney Brown, that experiment's over, bro. The dude is on a hitch route, a curl, comeback. You know he's going to come back and try to turn outside, and you try to fly in and go at his knees on the inside. And the receiver just scampers off for an extra 15. Sidney Brown is not the answer. Me personally, I never really thought that much of Sidney Brown. Just, I mean, he had some great potential, upside, whatever. But, bro, Marcus Epps, he's done very well. I feel like filling in for Makuba till Makuba is able to, come back. But, you know, bro, Sidney Brown. Just some of the play is just boneheaded plays. Just like, dude, what are you doing? What are you doing, dude, bro? And I'm not gonna act once again like I know coverage and I know what the receiver's thinking. But there's plays like clear as day where even the casual fan can be like, bro, what are you doing? What are you doing? So that's that. Bills defensively for the Eagles offense to pull out a win Sunday. The Eagles are going to have to rely Jalen Hurts using his legs and Saquon Barkley running to the outside left of the offensive line. Now, I don't know Bills. I don't know if Bosa's playing, but they you cannot let them set the edge. Matt Milano, Epinesa can still play to an extent, but in order for the Eagles to come out and win, they're gonna have to round that run game first. Bills corners, Tre'Davious White, past his best days. Hopefully, Devontae can get something going. And King Dallas Goedert beat Matt Milano is going to be the question. If Dallas Goedert can beat Matt Milano, this game could have, really big positive implications for this Eagles offense. If not, could be seeing another story. But I have faith in Dallas Goedert, who, by the way, 10 total, I believe leads all tight ends and touchdowns, having a career year. All pros are the only thing at this point that matter. There is no way Jalen Carter, and we love Breadman Jalen. We love Jalen Carter. Saved the Eagles season last year. Was a beast. A dog. He knows he didn't deserve it. This year, Travis Kelce did not play good enough to go to the Pro Bowl this year. And don't tell me, well, no one else, was really good either. Bro, I don't have the stats in front of me, but you tell me Hunter Henry doesn't have a case? You're going to tell me, like, other dudes, like, you're just going to dismiss people, and just because it's a name, he's got to be in there. Just look at Ronnie Gatson stats before he got injured and compare them to Kelce. And we know Gatson got injured, unfortunately, but bro, you got guys that have been injured half the season making a Pro Bowl roster. Joe Alt made the Pro Bowl roster after getting injured in week 6. Week 6. Like, come on, bro. Come on. Be serious. Be serious. That's all we ask. Just be serious. And the Pro Bowl is unfair. Like, Tyler Huntley, respectfully, is not a pro. So in the 1990s, with Tyler Hunt, the way the Pro Bowl was formatted, would Tyler Huntley have been a Pro Bowler? Would Zay Flowers, who has now ended his team's season twice on a fumble, would he be in the Pro Bowl? I just want to know. Just, do you keep it objective? Do you gotta keep it a buck? Some of these dudes, come on, bro. And then when it's like Lamar is like, he has Zay Flowers to throw to, multiple time Pro Bowler. Okay. Okay. Like, come on, bro. Come on. Name recognition is a Pro Bowl. All pros are the players, the coaches, players that watch tape. They play against the players. They know. So you got casual fans would be like, well, Justin Jefferson, and Justin Jefferson has dropped some balls this year, but no, Justin Jefferson, he's lost a step. I go to the University of Michigan. My brother, J.J. McCarthy, Max Brosmer, walk it to him, limp it to him, bounce it to him, Wentz. They're not the answer in Minnesota. I mean, like Jordan Addison's touchdown was a rush for 60 yards yesterday. Those guys are not the answer. Oh, AJ Brown's lost a step. My bro, are you watching the offense? Are you watching anything? Oh, Saquon's lost a step. Saquon ain't lose a step. Hurts ain't lose a step. AJ ain't lose a step. Devontae ain't lose a step. Now the O line, some of the O line has been losing a step, but it's the big names, the skill positions that have to be losing the step. But nevertheless, my team, they'll regroup no matter what win loss on Sunday, and we'll do a prediction. I'm thinking it's gonna be. It could turn into an up and down the field, or it could be a defensive stalwart. I'm thinking more defensive stalwart. I'm gonna go Eagles 23, Bills 20. It's gonna be tight, but when you need the most, Hurts, the defense, they're gonna make those plays. And I think we pulled that win in Buffalo 23-20 Sunday. And on that note, pray for your boy. Stomach is still a little, I went to the store. My main man, got some milk. As soon as I bought that milk, I started chugging that junk in the self checkout. Receipt still printing. Some girl walked by me like, bro, who is this dude? What are you doing? It was unserious. It was unserious. But we'll be good. We got some ice cream upstairs. Cooling down. But on that note, man, it's your boy. Philly Talk with PA. Always keep it a stack. Always keep it a buck. I'm out, y'all.